All right, hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Made it to Hump Day, Wednesday, November 12th, 2014. I'm Jeremy, talking about what you can do today to make tomorrow better. And I know I always say that, what you can do today to make tomorrow better. But I know sometimes, oftentimes, I go sort of deeper, and it's things that aren't so concrete, like put a penny in a bucket and 10 cents will be there the next day. That'd be great. But anyway, my point is today I'm going to talk about something a little bit darker. But due to recent experience of some friends, I feel like this is something I should talk about. Be aware of sociopaths. I'm not talking Hannibal Lecter. I'm not talking Ted Bundy. I'm talking about people all around you. Estimates say that 4% of the population are sociopaths, psychopaths, whatever. Narcissists can sometimes be in the same thing, and they're all very similar, and they're a lot more common than you think. I think that's a very low estimate. And what a sociopath is someone without a conscience, the inability to feel empathy. Like they just don't, their brains don't function the same way most people's do in terms of having emotion, true emotion, and feeling like for someone else. I recently got completely conned. Luckily, it was very short-lived, and I saw, looking back, and I saw the signs early on, but it was very eye-opening to see what people are capable of when they don't have a conscience. And it really made me think back to a lot of people I've encountered over my life and never quite understood how they could do some of the things they do. Very callous and just cold and manipulative and just passive aggressive. Like, there's a lot of traits, and some people are gonna have like certain traits. Like, not everyone's perfect, but when used by a sociopath, it's very dangerous. Like, things to look for, usually your intuition will trigger. Your intuition will throw up red flags. But generally, when you first meet someone who is a sociopath, whether you're a target to be victimized by them or not, whether they, like, if they're trying to get something from you, be it money, time, just pure power, control, you'll know, because it'll just be relentless, just attention and constant showering of appreciation and compliments. And it can be from a love interest, it can be from a business partner, a potential business partner, it can be from like a friend or a friend of a friend. It can be totally random, like you just don't know. And the thing is, if you haven't ever encountered it, like to where you knew that you had caught somebody just lying about stuff that doesn't even need to be lied about for the purpose of having some sort of control or power, you really don't think about it, and you really just let things go. It's like, wow, that person's crazy. Like, or a lot of people write off, she's psycho, or he's psycho, or it's very easy to just dismiss it and not really realize that people with that disorder, they don't consider it a disorder. Sometimes it would be nice to think it'd be nice not to be confined by our emotions, but it's a scary thing to think about what people could be capable of without the restraint of our emotions and our conscience giving us a moral guideline of what's right and wrong. So why I'm saying this is because until recently, I really never thought like I would try to see the best in people, even though I would have my own faults, and I would, and I would get overly aggressive on like what's fair and what's right, and I would, but I would never think people were intentionally doing things to manipulate. Like, it was very eye-opening and can definitely make you paranoid, but you just have to be aware. And the biggest thing is that people with no conscience, sociopaths, they're attracted to positions of power, which is what really makes me feel like I need to say this, because politicians, doctors, lawyers, you know, people that, you know, are running companies. You think of Bernie Madoff, like all the scandals that have rocked the country and the world, mostly by sociopaths. They have no conscience. They don't care who they hurt. They don't care what they do. Some traits of sociopaths: they'll project. They'll project what they're doing onto you. Like if they're going crazy on you, they'll tell you you're going crazy on them. If they're lying to you, or if they're lying to you, they'll tell you you're lying to them. Very passive aggressive. They'll use the silent treatment. They'll just constantly turn things on you. You know, they'll just butter you up and like early on and just, you know, try to give. They'll try to give you information to build trust really quick. Open up about stuff that may or may not be true. But coaches. Coaches is another thing. Coaches. I was reading some articles today, which is another thing. It's sitting right in front of me, and Outside Magazine, about the USA swim team and how there's been a culture of hundreds of sexual assaults by coaches on swimmers, U.S. swimmers, while they're amateurs, and it's sickening. It's sickening because they'll have the rest of the world, like, they love attention, and they love to put up this perception that they are, you know, their perception is completely the opposite of what they are deep down. Their perception is, oh, they're wonderful, they're great. Like, this coach, when he was systematically raping one of the top swimmers again and again and again, allegedly, when she finally came out years later because she was too embarrassed and ashamed, she left the sport even though she was, like, going on to probably going to make the Olympics. But she eventually left the sport because of this coach. When she finally came out for quite a few reasons, feeling and like realizing it was happening to other girls, all the parents and everyone else, like of the other kids whose children weren't being raped and assaulted and molested, just labeled her as a liar. She's crazy. Oh, and they held rallies for this coach. Like they were so sucked in by his charisma and his, you know, just demeanor and this aura that he put out of being this dominant, you know, male figure, that was because he had sucked them in. It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. You just have to be careful because they're everywhere. So all I'm saying is just make sure, especially when your kids are involved and they're like being with a teacher late or a coach, or if you're getting sucked into a new relationship and things just don't always seem right, go with your gut. And I've been like hinting at all this stuff. Go with your gut, your intuition, all this. Like, follow your instincts and your intuition. And this is really what it's about, because there are lots of people out there who have cruel intentions. That's a movie about sociopaths. And you really need to be aware, because they'll take advantage of you. And if they see you as a target, someone who empathizes and who sympathizes a lot, they'll use that to their advantage. They'll look for weaknesses and they'll exploit it big time. And sympathy is the biggest one. If they played a victim, if they tell you about how they were, you know, just troubled background and woe is me, red flag. They're trying to get your sympathy really quick. Just be aware. Look it up. Look up articles on sociopaths, psychopaths, and you'll realize it's like, it'd be nice to know this stuff before it actually happens to you. So think about that. I encourage you to look it up more, especially when you have kids that are being coached by anyone, you know, or spending time with doctors, lawyers. Don't ever be afraid to question anything, because you can't trust everything. There's always an agenda, and it's usually manipulation, control, power for anyone in positions like that, and your next door neighbors and whoever else. You could have somebody in your family, you know. So think about it, be aware, be vigilant, and just be careful who you trust. All right? So keep thinking about what else you can do today to make tomorrow better, especially doing that. And I'll see you tomorrow.